let's talk about the stats that I have calculated for the books that I have read for 2024. Welcome to This House of Books. My name is Ashley, and like I said, let's get into some stats. This is the first year that I kept a reading journal. I have changed a lot about it, so if you want to see my new reading journal, that link will be down below. There's not as many stats in here as I will have in my new reading journal, but I have calculated enough. I will put some pictures up to just kind of show all of that. I have a cup of coffee and we'll just kind of get into it. So I don't use Storygraph. I am on it, but every time that I go on, because I'm like, yes, I'm gonna start using it because I love all like the graphics that they give for all of your reading things, I get highly overwhelmed. So for right now, I'm just making my own graphics. I am filming this on New Year's Eve. I am finishing a book today. I have like 2 hours left in the audio. It's gonna get finished today. So I have been able to compile all of my numbers, and some of the numbers will be more broken down in like my December book wrap up, which will be coming next week. And then my unread TBR number, that will be coming in my next video. I am going to be starting filming that right after this. I'm gonna go through all of my shelves and hold up all the books that are unread. That, of course, is inspired by Becca and the books, and I'm really excited to start filming that. I have read 124 books this year, which is amazing. Now, the numbers in here don't calculate correctly because I do count on my Goodreads the middle grade and kind of YA books that I read aloud with my kids. I am experiencing that just as much as they are, and so I count them. I was not kind of keeping track with that in here, so that is just going strictly off of Goodreads. 124 books, which is amazing. Now, the numbers that we are going to get into next are not counting those books that I do as read alouds with my kids. And that is definitely where my stats are going to change next year, where I am going to be including all of those, but not this year. So the books that I read on my own, I had an average rating of 3.95, which I'm pretty happy with. You know, I have definitely changed my rating scale as the year has gone on, that I've added in like half ratings where I'm like, you know, this one wasn't really a 4-star book, but I did enjoy it. So it's a 3.5. I've also been brutal, and spoiler, in the month of December, I gave 2 books 2-star ratings. So yeah, I will take 3.95. I don't have a graphic to go with it, but I'll just tell you. So January was 4.0. February 4.6, March 4.06, April 3.7, May 4.2, same as June, was also 4.2, July 3.9, August 4.05, September 3.5, October 3.75, November 3.9, and December 3.6. So I'll take those average ratings. Now, out of those books, I read 34,752 pages. Holy moly. Like, that's not even including the books that I read with my kids. That's just the books that I read on my own. I can't believe that is an awesome number to have. And then I averaged how many pages I was reading every month, and the average was 2,896. So I will take it. My lowest month was April with 2,321 books. And I did only read 5 books that month, not including the ones with my kids. So that makes sense. My highest month was June with 3,200 pages. That's pretty cool. That may have been the month that I finished the Throne of Glass series, and so I read Kingdom of Ash. Yeah, that's, you know, like a 1,000-page book, so that makes sense. All right, in all of those readings, I did have a handful of DNFs. I am not afraid to put a book down if it is not working for me. I try to get at least 50 pages and by 100 pages into the book, I know if I'm going to continue it or not. Very rarely will I DNF a book further than that. And maybe that's something that I need to work on. But also, if I've put in that much energy past 100 pages, I may as well keep going. So here's a list of all the books that I DNF'd. So I'm not going to get into great detail. I definitely get into detail like in my monthly wrap-ups. And even though like this channel is new, all the other monthly wrap-up videos are on my other channel. So if you want to go see how those went throughout the year, the link is down below. So I DNF'd Devil House, The Magnolia Palace, Practice Makes Perfect, A Study in Drowning, Sword Catcher, The Librarian Spy, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, 5 Days at Memorial, Ordinary Monsters, The Women of Chateau Lafayette, The House Witch, Wormwood Abbey, and Comfort and Joy. Spoiler, I DNF'd that in December. So overall, I am okay with that number. 13 books that I DNF'd. That's okay. Not every book is going to be for me. There are some books on this list that other people have loved, and they really just didn't work for me, and that's okay. This is the first year that I have kept track of the books that I DNF'd, and I really like that, to just kind of have an idea of how many books really, really didn't work for me. And I will definitely be continuing with this next year. All right, and then the last thing that I want to talk about are my book brackets. So these pictures will be coming from my reading journal, and I really liked this setup, kind of watching throughout the year how my favorite book was kind of coming, and I kind of knew like month to month, like that was my favorite book of the month, but it's not going to be my favorite book of the year. So here is the first set of brackets that I have. So my favorite books, starting in January, was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Then My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry in February. March was All the Lonely People. April, The Last Chance Library. May, The Book Thief. June, The Women. July, The Unmaking of June Farrow. August, The Lion Women of Tehran. September, When Women Were Dragons. October, The Life Impossible. November, Homegoing. And December, The Bone-Charred War. So, I'm pretty happy with this. Quite a few of these made it onto my top 10 favorite books of the year. Not all of them, surprisingly, as I was making that list. Emily Wilde didn't make it on there. My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. All the Lonely People, Last Chance Library, and The Life Impossible. The Bone-Charred War is the third in a trilogy, but the first one, The Bone-Charred Daughter, did make it onto that list. And then here's the next picture of the following page where I start breaking it down, and you can see which ones kind of won out. So My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, The Last Chance Library, The Women, The Lion Women of Tehran, The Life Impossible, and Homegoing. And then that got broken down even more to My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, The Women, and Homegoing. You know, I'm pretty good about that. I enjoyed all of those books. So those being like top 3, okay. And then the winner of my book bracket, of course, is The Women. I talked about this in my top 10 books. I just shared a bunch of books that are in my favorites of this year. They were in no particular order until the very last 2 books, where I had the runner-up and my favorite book of the year, which was The Women. And then that is all the stats that I have to share. I am excited to be able to share at the end of 2025 a lot more stats. Maybe I'll put up a picture here of what I have created for my new book journal, and you can see there's a lot more that I'm going to be keeping track of, and I'm really excited about that. The nerd in me likes seeing like data for what I'm reading. All right, but that's it. I am so happy with those numbers. The fact that I read 124 books this year is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. Never did I think I would read that much. I am not burnt out, knock on wood. I really just enjoy picking up books any moment that I get. So I'm going to kind of keep that steam going into the new year. As always, if you like this or anything else that I post here on this channel, make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more soon.